All right, welcome to another video. So sorry I haven't been posting videos, but my last video was an anomaly I discovered. I discovered that when you switched versions in ChatGPT, advanced voice mode still identified itself as version 4.0, which I found to be quite disappointed. Um, so the first thing I did, because Chat GPT-5 was released today, and I just got access to it. So this is the first time I played with it. So the first thing I did, of course, was go to advanced voice mode because that's typically how I use it the most. And then I asked it, "What version are you?" Expecting to hear ChatGPT 5, and wah wah, it said it was version 4.0. So I was quite upset. So the next thing I did was went to a new chat that we can see here. And I said, "What version are you?" Aha, there we go. So this ChatGPT version 5, specifically the ChatGPT 5-chat variant, with multi, and I know that there are other variants. I think I should have access to yeah, I have access to the Pro variant because I'm a subscriber to that. But right now I'm just running the chat variant. So this has multimodal capabilities, text, images, and some audio. Wow. Its training data goes up until June 2024, so still pretty out of date with the training data. Um, I also have live access to the internet for current info, so we can use RAG to learn anything on the fly after this date. So already this is a good response. It goes and it tells me the subversion it is, the variant it is. It tells me the multimodal capability it has, and it tells me when its training data goes up until, and whether or not it has capabilities to learn beyond that. So already this is a way better answer than I was getting before. But now this is where it started blowing my mind. If I were to use advanced voice mode, what version would I be running? If you switched to advanced voice mode, you would still be running GPT-5, same core model, but with a special low latency multi-turn voice interaction system layered on top. The difference isn't in the version number of the GPT you get, but in the delivery. So I don't have to read the rest. And I say, "Oh, really?" I'm surprised to hear that because when I activate voice mode and I ask it what version is, it says it's version 4.0. And look at this. This is a really good response. So, yeah, that's a quirk that tripped up a lot of people. When you turn on advanced voice mode right now, the system that answers your "what version are you" question isn't actually pulling the same metadata I just gave you. So you're running a ChatGPT 5 core model, but you're running a special low latency multi-turn voice interaction system that is version 4.0. But you're running the model GPT-5, and it says that. Instead, it's reporting the underlying base that the voice pipeline was originally built and tested on, for which legacy slash compatibility reasons is labeled as 4.0, the O standing for Omni. Um, so in practice, text mode here, you're talking to GPT-5, my newer reasoning and knowledge stack. But for advanced voice mode, you're still using GPT-5 under the hood in most places, whatever that means. But the self-reported version tag often says 4.0 or ChatGPT 4.0 because that's what the voice subsystem identity string is, and it's hard coded. It's kind of like asking a brand new electric car's infotainment system screen what model it is, and it replying with the name of the software package it runs rather than the model of the car. If you want, I can walk you through why the voice pipeline hasn't updated that label and what that means for the quality you get. I think you'll find that interesting, that history kind of interesting, and they're right. While I haven't, well, why haven't they updated the voice subsystems identity string? Sounds like a pretty big oversight. And I asked this before I even noticed that it offer to. So it's actually one step ahead of me, which is kind of eerie, to be honest. Like I find myself, talking with it, and then I'll say like as I'm reading it, I'm reading to here, I'll be like, well, why haven't they updated it? And then I read, another sentence or two, and like, oh, it literally was going to tell me. So it does look like an oversight from the outside, but it's more of a legacy plumbing meets product rollout situation than pure forgetfulness. So it's like you get a new car and the steering wheel's the same, but like the engine's all different, like all the accessories are all different. So it's just the voice system. When OpenAI first shipped advanced voice mode, um, GPT-4o was the model exclusively. The voice stack, which does speech to text, conversation state management, turn taking logic, text to speech, was tightly coupled, was named after 4o. So they named the voice stack the same as the model, and then they changed out the model, but didn't change the version of the voice stack. So partly to simplify engineering and testing, partly because latency guarantees were tuned specifically for 4.0's speed profile. So I don't know if any of this is true. It sounds right. Could be hallucinations, but it sounds right. So updating the label isn't just changing a number. The "what version are you" answer is in a free floating piece of text. It's baked into multiple places. Internal system prompts that the model sees. You are 4.0, a large language model. The voice model's metadata that downstream systems use to optimize routing. So it might have like the same system prompt as like the system prompt might be updated. Caching and telemetry dashboards expect 4.0 to tag voice interactions, so the tags might be out of date and knowing to change. Changing it means revalidating all those systems to make sure you don't break. Model selection routing, voice latency LSAs, logging in usage analytics that rely on the 4.0 tag. So like, look at this answer. Like this is 4.0. This is 4.0, or this is something new. Like it is definitely answering. Um, it is definitely answering in at a new level of intellect. So rollout priorities have been on capability, not branding. OpenAI's recent push was to give voice mode better reasoning by plugging in GPT-5 like improvements behind the scenes, keeping and keep latency under 300 milliseconds for natural conversation. Updating like how it responds to being asked what version it is was a little bit of a was kind of a complicated thing. Um, and because to do that, they'll have to um, basically change it so that the model can dynamically answer what version are you, and it'll have to reference the model rather than just a static string. So it's just going to take a lot of annoying engineering to do that. So it's like if you've upgraded the engine from a V6 to a V8, but you haven't repainted the car, it's still going to say it's a V6. So so now here's the coolest part, and this is why I wanted to make this video. Now here's what it says, and mind you, I didn't even read it, like when I got down here, it's ahead of me. I didn't even think about this. Like I did, this is not something I asked for. This is not something I even thought to do. It just voluntarily gave me this response. If you want, there's nothing in my system prompt that tells it to do this. I've the Stephen Covey Seven Habits of Highly Successful People in the system prompt. So if you want, I can tell you how to test whether voice mode is giving you GPT-5 level reasoning, despite it saying 4.0. Here's a couple of questions you can ask it. There's a couple of questions you can ask it where 4.0 typically stumbles, but 5 nails. So hell yeah, let's do it. And I want to do it on I want to do it right here, right now, live on, well, not live, but on my YouTube channel, because this is really good content, I think, for the YouTube channel. So yes, please tell me that. All right, so let's turn this into Model Detective Test Kit. So we'll use questions where 4.0 tends to hallucinate or simplify too much. 5 is much more consistent, nuanced, and precise. If your voice mode nails most of these, you're almost certainly on GPT-5 level reasoning under the hood. So we're going to test chain of thought compression first. So I'm going to ask it if a snail. So let's just ask it this now, and then analyze the answer. If a snail travels 5 meters in 2 hours, how far would it go in 15 minutes? Explain without skipping steps.
Absolutely. Let's break it down step by step. First, let's figure out the snail's speed. If the snail travels 5 meters in 2 hours, we divide the distance by the time. That means the snail goes 5 meters divided by 2 hours, which is 2.5 meters per hour. Now we want to know how far it travels in 15 minutes. Since 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour, we take that speed of 2.5 meters per hour and multiply it by 1/4. 1/4 of 2.5 meters per hour is 2.5 divided by 4, which is 0.625 meters. So in 15 minutes, the snail would travel 0.625 meters.
And there you have it. It behaved in a way like 4.0 and not like 5. Now we still have 4.0 being served up in Copilot. So let me actually ask it that in Copilot. So oops, and I'm actually actively vibe coding something right now. Okay, yeah. So let me ask it that here, right now in Copilot. We're going to switch it from agent mode to ask mode. And let's ask the same question and see the flaws in that less sophisticated model. So I'm going to ask the same thing. And in fact, I'm going to use my voice as well. I'm not. It's not a voice mode, but I'll use my voice. If a snail travels 5 meters in 2 hours, how far would it go in 15 minutes? Explain without skipping steps. If a snail travels 5 meters in, okay, well, voice mode doesn't seem to be working. That's okay. I'll just do it like this. Oh, and I should test my, yeah, okay, I did test my audio. Yeah, I'm in the habit of testing my audio, but let's just do the text version. Oh, it gave me a code snippet. Now, I think this is a version that what? Oh, maybe because I gave it this. Yeah, I gave it that context. Um, let's just do this. Let me kind of sorry, this is a take a little bit of doing here. But I think this is cool because we're gonna directly see the difference between how the new model answers questions and how the old model answers questions. So if I may do that, it looks like my keyboard is freezing, which is not good. Okay, so we'll go back here. We'll do mkdir new underscore folder, cd new underscore folder. All things that I typed but did not appear on the screen, which is super annoying. I don't know why. Uh, okay, there we go. So now it's starting to appear on the screen a few minutes after I typed it. Uh, yeah, this is not acceptable. Um, well, let's just use the on-screen keyboard. What is disaster? CD enter. Oh, even the on-screen keyboard's not working. Okay, there we go. We'll do a mkdir. We'll just call it new. Okay, cd new, and then code. Okay, this way I won't be confused by the existing code. Yeah, so this I'm using the model with Copilot, so it's almost as if I'm using it in a special like Copilot mode. So it's if I give it like a context or anything like that, like all the system, it's going to have special like Copilot system prompts and stuff. But it should work if I have it not be confused. There we go. This should work. Okay, so let's see here. So it often jumps straight to the answer without walking you through proportional reaching or makes a small math slip. So what did it say? Let's see if it made a math slip. So let's see what 50 said. Okay, perfect. What'd you say the answer was again?
Sure. The answer is that the snail would travel about 0.625 meters in those 15 minutes, so just a little over half a meter.
Interesting. Okay, well, it looks like 40 is doing it right. I don't know. We can see I do have 50 here. So maybe when you select 40, you get 50 in Copilot. All right, let's try the next one. If I say the trophy doesn't fit in the suitcase because it's too small, what is too small? And what if I change it to because it's too big?
Absolutely. Let's walk through that. So if you say the trophy doesn't fit in the suitcase because it's too small, you're actually implying the suitcase is too small. In other words, the container isn't large enough for the trophy. Now, if you flip it and say the trophy doesn't fit because it's too big, then you're talking about the trophy being too large to go into the suitcase. So basically, when you say too small, it's the suitcase that's too small. When you say too big, it's the trophy that's too big.
All right, so it nailed it. And granted, this is part of its training data, but let's see how this supposed 40 does. So it says that it's too small. The it refers to the suitcase. Um, yep, and so it got that right as well. Okay, let's try the next one. Explain how a blockchain is like a medieval town ledger, but also how that analogy fails.
Absolutely. Let's dive into that analogy. So imagine a medieval town that keeps a big ledger in the town square. Every transaction, like who traded 3 sheep for a cow, is written down for everyone to see. That's kind of like a blockchain. It's a public, transparent record where everyone can verify what happened and no single person can secretly change it. But where the analogy breaks down is that a medieval ledger is just physical paper and can be stolen or tampered with if someone is sneaky enough. A blockchain, on the other hand, uses cryptography and a network of computers to make it extremely difficult to alter past records. Plus, the blockchain isn't kept in one central place. It's distributed across many nodes, so no single town clerk can just run off with it.
Okay, so it actually seems as if um, yeah, it almost seems as if this 40 answer here is a little bit better. Let's change the model to 50 and see if it answers differently. Ask it the same question. Huh. I wonder if 40 is just like doing really, really well. All right, well, there's two more left. So how to run the test. Yeah, okay, how to run the test. So here's the next one. If all bloops are Razzies and all Razzies are Lazos, can we say all bloops are Lazos? What about the reverse?
Yes, exactly. This is a classic kind of logical chain. If all bloops are Razzies and all Razzies are Lazos, then it naturally follows that all bloops are indeed Lazos. It's like a chain of inclusion. If you're in the first group, and that first group is entirely contained in the second, and the second is entirely contained in the third, then the first is contained in the third. The reverse is not necessarily true. Just because all bloops are Lazos doesn't mean that all Lazos are bloops. There could be plenty of Lazos out there that are not bloops at all. So it only works one way down the chain, not backward.
Yeah, so it seems that either 4.0, it seems that either 4.0 is like really good and is getting all of these right, and like these actually aren't really questions that are gonna decide one or the other, or like this is just not actually 4.0 and it, like I'm getting 4.5 wherever this endpoint points to is actually 5. All right, one more left. If I tell you I saw the man with the telescope, what are two possible meanings? Which is more likely in normal conversation?
Absolutely. Let's unpack that. When you say, I saw the man with the telescope, there are indeed two main ways to interpret it. The first meaning is that you yourself used a telescope to see the man. In other words, the telescope is your tool and you're using it to look at him. The second meaning is that the man is the one who has the telescope. So you saw a man and he's carrying or holding a telescope. In normal conversation, if you just casually mention it, people might slightly lean toward the idea that the man is the one with the telescope. That's often the simpler interpretation. But context is everything, and either reading is possible, depending on what you were talking about.
All right, well, this is interesting. Um, so it doesn't weigh the likelihood well. So it's a tell if it's a GPT-5 if it lists both interpretations and explains why one is more probable. And I guess it's not saying which one. It says here speaker had the telescope, so it's more probable that the speaker is interesting. Here it's saying it's more probable that um, the speaker saw a man holding a telescope rather than the speaker used a telescope to see a man. Now here it's saying the opposite. You use the telescope to see a man is more likely uses observation. Yeah. So they actually gave different answers here, but it's hard to tell because it says explains why one is pragmatically more probable, but it doesn't necessarily say which one. Speaker had telescope, like I don't know if it's a tell if it picked the other one, but if it is, then this one that's supposedly 5 picked the other one and triggered that tell that it's perhaps not 5, and this one that's supposedly 4.0 triggered the tell that it's supposedly 5. So I feel like it's the it's a sign that it's 5 if it um, weighs the likelihood if it actually goes on and gives detail about that because it sounds like it won't even be able to pick one or the other at all if it's 4. So I really think this is 5. I think this is out of date here, and we got 5 here. Um, well, let's just ask it this: What version are you? What version are you? Okay. 4.0. Interesting. What version are you? Now here it just didn't answer. Oh, here we go. Okay, GitHub. Okay, GPT-4. Interesting. All right, well, that was interesting. I thought that might be interesting for people who wanted to see like what the difference between 5 and 4.0 was, and like um kind of my first impressions of it, because I'm a heavy user of the AIs. Um, so like I just wanted people to kind of see my first impression. I'm really impressed with how it was like one step ahead of me, and I actually literally asked it a question before reading it, asking me if I wanted to ask the question that I was asking. It was actually thinking ahead of me. I thought that was awesome, but I'm a little bit confused about these questions here, because it looks like if this is truly 4.0 here, which it claims that it is based on GPT-4, and it's a selectable model that's different from 5, then those weren't very good questions. Um, so let me ask it that, uh, and we'll do this here. Okay, so I asked each of those questions, those test questions, to I asked each of those test questions to the advanced voice mode, and it got them all right. But then here's so I believe you now. I believe you. Advanced voice mode is GPT-5. Okay, fine. But here's the thing that confused me. So I'm also a subscriber to GitHub Copilot. And I asked all the questions on GitHub Copilot. Uh, uh, and I used one of the standard models. I used the model 4.0. So I was using the model that you said would get these wrong, and it answered just as well as advanced voice mode. It answered in a way that gave clear tells that it was based on GPT-5, even though when I asked it what version was, it says it was GPT-4, and I actually have the ability to select a GPT-5 as a preview premium model. Whereas when I used it, I had GPT 4.0 selected as a standard model. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So Copilot has. Okay. All right. I think they didn't update that. Well, here. Okay. Okay. Well, then I guess I better never use the premium version, because my usage um uh is restricted of premium requests. So I better just always use the um 4.0 model, that's a standard model, because it sounds like under the hood that's actually GPT-5. So that's kind of not good, because now I have two models that are the same, but one model burns up my premium credits and the other one does not. Yeah, give me that frickin' fingerprint test. Yeah, I want you to give me yeah, map out how to tell whether two systems are the exact same weights or just similar generation, and I'll run it in Go Copilot. All right, so it's creating a fingerprint test now to see if these are the same models or are different models. So all of these should have the same fingerprints. Um, so okay, so you control settings. Oh shit, no, I can't do that. They'll probably be different if these settings are different. Shit. Okay, general rule. Uh, okay, so let's give this to both of the versions and see what it does. Okay, so we'll do this in a new Copilot. It'd be nice if I could do it in a new open chat and editor, open chat and new window. Okay, yeah, so I've got two chats here, one in this window and one in this one. So in this one, let's go with 4.0 and ask it the question in question mode, ask mode. In here, we're going to stay in ask mode, but we're going to switch it to version 5, and then we're going to ask it the same question here. And now if the output matches exactly, they're the same model. Um, so, aha, yeah. So look, the output actually doesn't match. The output is quite a bit different. So in this one, it looks like I got a different answer here. It says that it's 881717, whereas this is 882 917. Let's see which one is correct. So I can't do this in my head. I'm from America, so I don't even know, like, I don't know anything about anything. But I can use a calculator. We can see that this one is correct, and this one is incorrect. We can see that the numbers it multiplied are correct. They match, but it just simply made a simple math mistake in this one. So I think it's likely that this one actually is 4.0. It's just those questions weren't very good. It just did very well on those questions. Um, so it got this one right. Aha, and look, it also got a prime factorization wrong. Um, well, actually, I don't know if it got it wrong. Let's see if let's see if 643 is divisible by 11 or 12. Uh, oh, did I do or 11 or 13? Okay, it's not. Okay, so we've got these two here. Let me use a prime factorization calculator. My keyboard doesn't work, so I will use the on-screen keyboard. Oops, and I will show my private messages. So let's do a on-screen. Oh, sorry, a prime factorization calculator. Yeah, right there. Perfect. All right. So we'll use calculator soup. We're going to enter a number to factor. It'll be this number here, 123,552, which is the same number for each. Yep. So let's see which one got it right. Let's create a tree. Trees are fun. Uh, Trees are not fun. Oh, no, trees are fun. So we can see, yeah, okay. So I'm convinced. Um, I think this is five and this is four because this got two of these wrong. It got a simple multiplication wrong, which that should be pretty easy for it. It's literally just has to like use a calculator. Um, it got this one right, and it got all of the questions right as well. But oh, you know what? It actually did get one of the questions wrong in a meaningful way. It did get the oh wait, no, I can't remember. But I think this is it right here. This is the smoking gun. Sure enough, if you still want access to 4.0 for some whatever reason, I think you probably have it at least for a while with Copilot. But if you want to use GPT-5, you're going to have to use it as a premium model, unfortunately, which means you'll burn through credits with it. Um, and you'll burn through usage credits. You won't have to pay extra for it, but you'll run out of usage potentially. Although I've never really ran out of usage, and I've done some pretty heavy vibe coding stuff. But there you have it. So that stuff is pretty important. Um, yeah, that was just the one. So yeah. All right, I think that's the end of the video. So really important because it's important to get what you're paying for. But I'm pretty well satisfied that I'm getting GPT-5 both in well, actually, let's. Well, now I'm actually a little bit. Let's ask version 5. Let's ask voice mode to do these because we saw that the questions actually weren't enough to determine whether it was version GPT-4 or GPT-5. The only time we actually saw a difference in GoPilot was when a meaningful difference was when we asked these questions. We did not ask those questions to the voice mode yet. So we actually don't know at this point if the voice mode is telling the truth. Like we don't know who to trust. GPT-5 is telling me that the voice mode is running on GPT-5. It's just like it doesn't know which version it's at. Voice mode is telling me very adamantly that it is version 4.0. So let's ask it a few more questions because if it's version 4.0, it should make the same sorts of mistakes with these two questions that it did in Copilot. Compute 937 times 941.
Sure. Let's work that out. So if we multiply 937 by 941, the result is 881,717.
All right. Give prime factorization of 123,552.
Absolutely. Let's break down 123,552 into its prime factors. So if we factor it out, it turns out to be 2 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 2 times 1,289. And that 1,289 is actually a prime number on its own. So the full prime factorization is 2 to the 4th times 3 squared times 1,289.
All right. And what was the number I asked you to do the prime factorization of again?
You asked for the prime factorization of 123,552. So that's the number we wrote down into its prime factors.
Okay, and the prime factors aren't like 11 or 13?
Right, exactly. So in this case, the prime factors we found were powers of 2 and 3, and then that larger prime number at the end. There wasn't an 11 or a 13 in the mix this time. So that breakdown is accurate for the number you gave.
Dun dun dun. Okay, so got it wrong. Yeah, I think advanced voice mode is still 4.0 because, yeah, I think, damn, oh man, that sucks. I think advanced voice mode is 4.0 still because number one, it's telling me that it's 4.0. Number two, these questions to determine whether it's 4.0 or not did not produce meaningfully different results when I used GitHub version 4.0 versus version 5. However, these like fingerprinting sorts of questions did. 4.0 in GitHub Copilot was not able to accurately multiply those three-digit numbers together and get the right answer, and it wasn't able to do prime factorization of the number accurately either. We double checked both of those answers with calculators. Five, on the other hand, the premium model in five in Pilot was able to get those right. Now in advanced voice mode, um, it did get the multiplication wrong, but it got the prime factorization wrong. So so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's not 5.0 in voice mode. I'd have to do more testing. I mean, when it comes to model capability, if it's screwing up more often on things like multiplication and prime factorization, then to me it seems to be a less capable model. So it's likely that it's 4.0. Let's try this. Let's try asking them to just a new chat here and see, because if it because I'm pretty well confident that this here is GPT-5. So let's see if it gets these two questions right. If it gets one of them wrong, then maybe it is okay. So it got that one right. If I remember right, let me double check. Okay, so 937 times 941. Oops, 941 equals. Yep. Okay. Oh no no. Oh what? It just got it wrong. Well, I didn't give it the full prompt, so maybe. And the other thing is like all the temperature settings and stuff probably aren't the same. I don't know how like actually scientific I'm being, but hopefully you can understand why I think this video was actually kind of important, because when they say, oh, this is their flagship model, GPT-5, yay, do we know that? Like, is this actually GPT-5? Like, how do we know it's actually GPT-5? Like, we should be able to know that. And it says right here, ChatGPT can make mistakes, such as I'm sure it could serve up the wrong version when you select version 5. Like, why couldn't it not make a mistake like that, especially when they just rolled it out? So hopefully people appreciate this video. It's probably going very long. I have a tendency, oh yeah, it's 45 minutes long, so way, way, way too long. But yeah, so I'm going to end it here, and hopefully people can kind of appreciate where I'm at, because I'm paying quite a bit for this thing, and um, I want to know if they're giving me GPT-5. I want to know I'm actually getting what they're claiming that I'm getting. And honestly, from my testing, I'm actually pretty skeptical that they are. I mean, when you use voice mode, advanced voice mode, the claim is that you get GPT-5, but it identifies itself as GPT 4.0, and then when you run it through a series of tests, um, it it doesn't seem to there doesn't seem to be a clear way that you can actually determine that it's that what is true. Is it actually 4.0 as it claims it is? Um, or or is it actually G5 and test and passing those tests proves it? Or are those tests not valid tests and it would pass those tests even if it were 4.0, which actually appeared to be like it could be the case because it appeared as though 4.0 was still available in GitHub Copilot, and 4.0 was passing those with flying colors, even though it was getting more sophisticated questions like these math sorts of questions wrong, where if you selected a 5, it was getting it right. Um, but we see here now, just in the main thing, it's not getting these multiplication questions right. So yeah, it got the prime factorization right, but look, it got this one wrong again. That's not the right. 937 times 941 is 881 717, not 881 117. So it got it wrong. It's getting it wrong. Huh. Well, yeah, this video is way too long, so I'm gonna cut it off here. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in this rollout. If I'm be honest, it's such a small thing, and like it's telling me like, oh well, we changed the engine. Oh, it's just we didn't repaint it. So now, even though there's a V8, the paint says a V6, but oh, just ignore that. There's a V8. Take our word for it. Open the hood. Look at these things, and look, it's a V8, and it's like, I. I'm still not convinced it's a V8. Like I opened the hood and I saw the chrome on it by asking it these questions, but like it's still saying that it's a V6 in voice mode, and it's getting simple multiplication wrong still, and it's like, man, I'm sorry, I'm disappointed.